I'd like to bring to order the April 2nd meeting of the Natural Resources Board. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if we could have the roll call.
Ms. Mosblick.
Here.
Mr. Howland. Here. Mr. Wolf. Here. Ms. Callahan. Here. Mr. O'Neill.
Here.
Mr. Saddleman.
Here.
Mr. Roseberry. Mr. Moga.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, we have approval of the last month's minutes.
Motion to approve last month's minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion is passed. So under announcements, we have new board members and then still board positions available.
Sorry, there are no new board members. There is an open position available, and that will be posted for the next week's meeting, city council meeting.
There have been applications or just posted? Oh, okay, cool. Okay. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda would be public input. Don't think there'll be anything. Okay, there's nothing under new business, so we'll go to old business. We have any updates on the EPA, the trash-free waters, litter quitter programs?
We do.
Awesome.
In the meeting, we've got a packet together that's going to go north with the trash-free water program. We presented for village sponsorship. We're already going to be rolling it out here in River County. Or people will be packaged, rebranded,
Well, they'll be at the Earth Day festival. They'll be participating there, and I asked them to bring their logo in like a sign that, so any vendors who are already members can have that in front of their sign.
But as far as rolling it out here in Indian River County, all we have to do basically now is just present the idea to the board, right? City council, I mean, excuse me. We are the board.
What we did at last week's meeting was basically write a fast prospectus of a grant. The EPA wants to connect people with ideas with the people with the money. So we had to come up with like a 3-page summary of what implementing the program in this county would be. And they actually had us shape it for the whole Indian River Lagoon Basin, so 5 counties. And we passed it on to the EPA, now we wait.
But as far as us rolling out the litter quitter for Indian River County here in Sebastian, yeah, I don't see, other than the city council approval, why we can't move forward with it. I mean, it has nothing to do with the grant that they're taking. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to say, just copy this program anywhere in the United States. What they did, they copied litter quitter from Brevard into Indian River, and now we're going to copy it in other places if they get that grant to do it. But, right, that's pretty much.
Well, we definitely need to have people trained. We need to have some members trained for signing people onto the program, because I know that it's one girl in Brevard, and she can hardly keep up with that. And I've been soliciting people to join litter quitter in this area just to get the buzz. And, you know, them traveling all the way out here to certify is a lot. So certainly as it grew, it will be impossible. So we need to have the next volunteer training event that they have. We need to make sure we send some representatives there.
Do you know when that is yet, or haven't?
The one had passed already, and it was impossible. It was right around the holidays. And there's another one next month, and I'll get the exact date on it.
Okay.
They are ongoing as well, so anybody who is a board member should probably consider maybe looking at going. And if we have some champions out in the community that people know of that would want to be participant in this type of thing. It would be better probably to have somebody who was not on the board, since the transitory nature of this board, but maybe somebody who would spearhead a concerned citizen or something like this. I don't know.
Okay. So it sounds like we should notify or kind of speak to the city council next, yes?
Yeah, I think Litter Quitter's kind of forming their whole plan for the whole lagoon-wide and how we fit into that. And I think we should wait until we have another meeting and get feedback on the prospectus so that we're not implementing something ahead of the schedule. Yeah, but it's happening now that the government shutdown's passed.
Yeah, so
And
we'll
I
have
think
it.
a lot got accomplished last week, a lot got accomplished.
Was this a new deadline? Something just came up and they all of a sudden started
It's
accepting
not for a
applications
specific
again?
grant. It's a few things that are out there, a few corporations that have
missed
money
that.
that they are just, so we like threw together a quick prospectus because we only had, a few hours, which isn't a lot to put a whole grant prospectus together. And the consultant that ran the meeting, he gathers them all, he fluffs them all, puts, all the right wording in them, and then he's going to bring them as a package to certain corporations, and that's his job with the EPA. And so what we're looking at is to get funding as a package to bring it to the whole lagoon region. And that's definitely how it can have the biggest effect, and it'd be great. We're kind of like the pilot, we'll be the pilot program for bringing it out of Brevard, and then we can help spread it outwards.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, that's promising. Okay, so we'll move on to the Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration, some of our updates.
I don't have it there.
So
We'll have to take them.
If we kind of go through the list that we had last week, I think I've got the list here. I don't know if you guys see it on page 2 of last month's minutes, so I'll just kind of go through that
Right.
list. We've got alcohol service. Any updates on that?
I am writing the proposal for the city council meeting. It's due tomorrow. And I talked to the alcohol department in Fort Pierce, and they seemed like we couldn't do it because we're not a nonprofit. I think it has to do with, anyway, I have another call to make. It's not a final word. I don't think she understood what I was saying, that we weren't making money up, so it's in the works.
Okay. So retail and food vendors, Charles, I'll pass it over to you. Have you been keeping up with the responses there?
Yes, ma'am. No, it worked out real good. I have 26 vendors on with the vendor applications. We have 4 or 5 food trucks. We had 6. One of them's already backed out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then last year, when we were doing this, we still had applications coming in the last week before the event. And these next 2 weeks, we should double the applications, but we've got 26 solid right now. And that doesn't include all the other organizations, like the Pelican Island people and the Lagoon people. And
Are we keeping the vendor spreadsheet updated?
I have been, and I think that with the food vendors, I think 5 sounds about right. I'm not sure with I should have looked before I came here, I'm sorry. But I have been, so with that vendor spreadsheet, I have 3 columns off to the right. I don't know if you've seen them. So we have whether or not they need electricity, and so I've basically been putting in there yeses or nos for any vendor that's coming, and that, what their requirements are, whether or not they're donating a raffle prize. So that has been up to date. Yeah, so with the email, it looks like things have been going pretty well.
yeah, a lot better than the last meeting, that's for sure. Yay! So it's been going okay. We should.
Do you think we should submit like another round
Yes,
of
absolutely.
emails out?
I've been soliciting, I really recommend, I've been soliciting as I go around town.
Yeah,
know?
so just what I was about to say, let's get some people that are here. Some of the, even if we aren't allowed to serve beer for alcohol. We should still invite Paradillo. We should still invite Mash Monkey to open a vendor booth. And they have really great stories on how beer is actually made from what they grow and how they ferment. And it was really, they've done this at other places that I've heard their stories about beer, and it's really interesting, as well as other local sportsman vendors and farmers that are in the area. So we got a couple of weeks that we can still get some of these people on board. My company is going to open a booth, so that'll be good. We'll have a solar display.
Our Mash Monkeys brewery that's local, they just got Letter Quitter certified. And I went to a new cafe, it's over on the edge of town, but a kitchen of her own, and everything, and she's all takeout, counter service, all takeout. Everything she uses is non-plastic, recyclable. It's amazing. I said, have you been Letter Quitter certified? Now she's Letter Quitter certified, and she's going to be in our event. That's what I'm saying. You get out and you see someone, then recruit them, you know? Yeah. That's a great way to get, people in.
Get the local businesses
She would be a good
involved.
champion for the program.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She would. She probably would love to.
So I feel we had a good response so far.
Very good. Okay, so it looks like waste management plans are still in place. Fire rescue, we've been getting fire rescue permits back. I saw in the returned vendor file, there's still a couple that don't have them. Is this something that we need
We
the
can
day
bring
of,
them on
or-
site, and as they come in, we can get them. That's how
Okay.
Rose had to do it last time, because this was, it was a new requirement last year, so she had to go around that way. Just, you don't want to have to do it for all of them, but we can hunt them down and get it
And it
done.
sounds like most vendors already have a fire extinguisher, like that's a normal thing that they bring. So-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that use electricity are used to that requirement.
Okay, everything going okay with the park layout? Have we started any of the? Or
I meet with
need any
Brian
help with that?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Not Brian, Brian from the parks.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I'll have the final layout of where they're going to put the barricades for the shredding, because I think they're going to change it up a little bit from last year. And where we'll have a crossing guard, I'll be able to finalize that tomorrow.
What we did last year was we laid out those spaces in the morning. That's why it went real smooth. Everybody knew where to go. As we get real close, we'll notify what number booth that they should be or what area, and then we'll have it all laid out. And then I'll go there with somebody at like 5 in the morning and lay them out in 10-foot sections all the way around the park. So we'll try to keep them in line.
I need to get some Home Depot flags, right?
There you go.
Anything else we need or should think about and talk about?
Marketing, I have the press release. It was approved by city manager and staff. So I'll get that out to John. Anyone else know any other media outlets? I'll send it out anywhere you'd like to send it.
One of the local radio stations contacted us to see if you wanted to do an interview, and I agreed
Oh, I
to
did
it.
get that email, yeah.
But I said I had to, because you're the chairperson, I don't really, and then you're the point person on all this. So I made sure that if you guys wanted to be there to talk to him, you can, but it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, either on tomorrow or Friday. It'll probably be like a 15-minute, 30-minute speak. I'm going to go. Said 3 of us can go if anybody else wants to go.
Where is it?
It's in Vero. It's going to be at there's a radio station right downtown Vero there, 93.7 I think is there, but it's not them. That's just where they do the recording.
Oh, there is a building there, yeah.
Jack FM
Yes,
over
that's
off
it.
16th.
Yeah, that's just where they're going to do the recording, and it's just something for the community. It's a local radio broadcast show. And if anybody wants to go, I thought, did you see the email? I forwarded it
I
to
did see the
you.
email,
Okay.
yeah. I wasn't sure of the time and the date. Unfortunately,
That's what I was looking at, and I was like, well, I don't know who's
If
going
you
to
can
be able
include
to
me
go
on the
there.
details of that, I need to.
Okay, and then you can send it out to everybody. Okay, I was just forwarding it as it came out of the Earth Day email.
Earth
But
Day
it's just,
email.
they're just going to ask us about Earth Day and stuff like that. And,
Okay.
oh, I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I can't make it.
Yeah, there we go. I can go if anybody else wants to
Yeah.
go. And it's going to be tomorrow or Friday.
It doesn't
If not, I can go. Everybody knows how much I like to hear myself talk, so it's a good thing.
Got it covered.
Okay. Okay. So entertainment, I think, Brian, we were okay with entertainment as of last month. Any changes there?
We're all good. Found a guy to do the sound. Found a guy to do the sound for $500. We need to approve that tonight. And then the entertainment total for the musicians is $300, so $800 total.
Did you talk to Mr. O'Connor?
Yeah,
Is that him?
Yep.
Okay, all right, because we did the Shrimp Fest,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, I talked to Brian, I love that guy.
So, yeah, he gave us a pretty good deal from,
Yeah.
I mean, all the other estimates range from $3,500 down to $1,000, so.
And that includes all that sound?
Everything that was there.
It was really amazing.
The
You
Shrimp
guys would
Fest
be
and Hubble.
really stoked.
We try to give him some more press, if we could add him. I sent you the thing, maybe use his logo or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, but yeah, so, yeah.
He's also going to be at one of our
But he
food
wants to do it
vendors.
again next year, obviously, so, you know, he's from down south, but he does some business up here, and,
We'll need to
if he-
vote to approve that.
Yeah,
I'll move to approve the $500 for the,
and it's total 800
oh,
for,
total 800. Okay, so move to approve the $800 for all sound and entertainment
correct.
expenses.
Second the motion?
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so the motion has passed. Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, Brad. All right, website, Facebook marketing, so we still have that kind of ongoing. I think, I don't know anything, any updates from kind of press releases or that kind of thing, but I think we're still good from last month.
We just got the press releases approved, and John's going to come in, I think maybe if he's available
Either tomorrow or Thursday.
and we'll make the copies for the schools.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and then, so we've got raffle ceremonies. Okay, so Charles, you're in charge of that, in charge of Gopher. The scavenger hunt. Ruth, you said you had a couple ideas for the scavenger hunt.
Yeah, so I was thinking that, as I understand, we have vendors for like trees, gardens, and perhaps we could involve them a little bit, like so you have someone go and ask a tree company, what are the native Florida trees? Just ask that question. I think that they could all probably answer it off the top of their head, but I didn't know how you felt about that, or if we needed to script them.
Like
or-
name one and write it here or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or like one flower, like one butterfly flower. I know a bunch, well, the company is Native Butterfly Flowers, and
Yeah.
they have all different types of native plants, but
They're very knowledgeable on it.
yeah,
They'll be
no,
there.
they are. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
Another,
There'll be, Sebastian Garden Club will be there also.
Oh, that's right.
So there'll be some other booths that will be knowledgeable on the plants. Also, for the scavenger hunt, we always have had a prize. And last year we had a bike, but it was like a boy's bike. I thought maybe we could do a boy and a girl bike since it's, it's a Walmart bike. It's not BMX something. But I would need approval for
Sure, so
about
do we have to
200.
approve a budget for that too?
Yeah, approve
Okay,
about
so-
200, and I'll look for a deal on the bike so that we have a boy and a girl bike for the raffle.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
So as they complete the scavenger hunt, they fill out the bottom and it goes in a jar, and then we pull it out at the end, and that's who wins the bikes.
So a motion to approve $200 for raffle winner?
second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Other thoughts I had on the scavenger hunt questions. I know we're going to have, isn't Waste Management one of the companies that's going to be there? And so we could ask, what is one of the items that is appropriate to be recycled? If we have food vendors and like the ones that you mentioned, we could ask them, what initiative do you have for sustainability? So like use the people that we already know that are coming and that are very active in terms of, Earth Day kind of sustainability kind of concepts, that we could have them go and ask, those specific companies. So
It's good to have them interacting with the event, the vendors, the park.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
what I
like
was
them to
thinking.
interact with like the Veterans Memorial and the Craigel statue, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we already have some questions. I just thought maybe we could, I don't know if there were going to be repeats, at least we could ask a few different new questions. And I didn't know if those were ones that they could just go to any food vendor, or if we wanted to direct them to
Or
a
even the
specific
retail
one.
vendors, a lot of the retail vendors are upcycling or repurposing materials and those types of things, so they could,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, I think that,
We could ask who's already a member of Litter Quitter, and you'd have to find who they are. And then, you know, it kind of brings up, what is this all about?
That's a good idea, it's a good segue.
yeah.
So those are my thoughts for additions to our scavenger hunt questions.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Did you want me to just, like, I didn't know how much I wanted to name a specific vendor versus just having an open question like that.
Might leave it open because probably multiple
Yeah.
vendors could answer the questions.
Then they have to go ask all the vendors.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Keeps them engaged. Maybe buy something.
I can take what was sent in email and update it to include those 4 different things then, and
Yeah, sure.
just pass it around.
I'll put it in we'll pass it, between those, we've all been discussing it, and then I'll put it in the format. I try to make them like 3 a page, so they fit
Yeah.
the clipboards that I made from the scrap foam core, so
Yeah,
I'll put it in the format.
okay. All right, sounds good. Okay, we've got, track routes good. Are there activities? So I will have some kind of activity. I'm thinking I'll have some kind of a board with items on it, and they can just kind of lift up flaps and say yes or no for recycling, that kind of thing. So recycling education, we still have the demographics, the demonstration materials from last year on avoiding plastics.
Yep.
So we'll have that.
The board and the sample products.
Right. So I think we'll be good and kind of keep the message under, you know, that one theme.
We're going to market
and-
the oyster garden as well.
That's right. That's right, that's right. Okay, and then volunteers. Have you been doing okay with the volunteers and getting the volunteers, Ruth?
I, after our last meeting, went and sent out the mass email from the, our own email box instead of my personal one. And I didn't receive any responses back, but I did contact directly because there was a voicemail email left from Laura over at Boys and Girls Club. So I called her, and she is very interested in having, and she's soliciting, not soliciting, that's a bad word, getting volunteers to participate in Earth Day. She was going to let me know last minute, more toward the date, exactly how many people there would be. She had one question, and that was, will we be providing food and or water, or do they need to bring their own? I posed that to Kim. Kim said that we will have water available for them, so I can respond with that. But relative to food, it would require a vote if we were to provide food to our volunteers. I didn't know how everybody felt about that, so.
We'd have to figure out some type of voucher program so that they could either go to one of the vendors. I mean, I don't mind.
That would be something that we can just have a flat price on. Like the sandwich ring at a Publix or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So would that mean
You know,
that
say
we'd have,
budget like 50?
Do we know how many volunteers we're talking about?
we don't have a number yet, so I don't know that.
Can we put money aside for it in
That's what I'm saying, we budget like 50, can we say that that's,
last year, we had like 10 kids from Boys and Girls Club, didn't we?
Last year, though, we had the activities that we were running. So we had like the pine cone feeders and the rock painting.
Are we doing rock painting?
we didn't do the feeders last year.
We did,
Pine
we
cone
had
feeders?
we did have the, yeah.
I went and got the pine cones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, I remember that now.
Yeah, so I know the kids were helping out a lot with
So,
that.
we were contacted by the Lions Club, and they have their big banquet that day, but they wanted to be involved. So I put them in contact with Daisy from Keeping River Beautiful. So I have the soil left over from our demo garden project, so I have 2 Rubbermaid tubs of soil. we're using that, and Daisy has the containers and seeds, and we're going to do planting, take-home planting and seed project, and the Lions Club's going to run it with Daisy from Keeping River Beautiful.
All right, sounds good. So I guess they could use, like volunteers could be used in that type of activity?
And she's going to use recycled material, reuse products
But
for
we also
planting.
had the kids from school had to do volunteer hours. Like, it was really important, even for them to graduate. They needed to do it.
Especially the Honor Society.
How do we contact them this year?
We reached out to the middle school, right? Didn't we reach out to the middle school?
Yeah. Is that one of the emails?
Yeah, it was on one of the emails, but I didn't hear back from them. Like, if we had phone numbers,
Yeah, they came
Hard
in
for volunteers to commit ahead of time. They usually, last year, they all popped up like 2
With
or
their
3 days
sheets in
out, and it
hand.
was
Yeah.
nerve-wracking that we would
Sign
get
here.
them, but
so back to the Boys and Girls Club, sounds like they will have volunteers. We just don't know the number. Is that something where we would go ahead to, like you said, Publix and just grab a whole tray of stuff?
I think like something like that they can cut and we can have in the cooler and set up. I have a separate table and coolers.
Okay.
So
So can I motion to approve?
We'll make sure they have snacks or food. Well, yeah, budget, like I say 50.
$50
Yeah.
budget for food for volunteers?
second?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so you've got
Kim, we're
that.
still within all our big budget for this event?
Yeah.
In terms of water, I know that I had looked at a couple businesses to bring in like big. I was coming up against roadblock. Any?
All I got were exorbitant prices.
No.
But I
Do
know
we have any
that
water coolers here that we can bring just for volunteers
I have
to have
a ton
available?
for volunteers. I got that.
What's that?
I have them for volunteers.
Do you have like a water cooler? Or something?
Yeah, I was going to bring that.
Oh, perfect,
But
okay.
we had a request for the guys Public Works guys that are helping out at the shredding events, that they get really hot and they're out in the sun there and they can't get to us. So they asked for bottles specifically. And I wish it came in cans or something else, but there's no other way to give it to them. But they do need to stay hydrated, and they were like melting last year. So I will make sure that they have a small cooler with some smaller bottles in it. But I can bring, we'll have water, like, and paper cups and stuff. We'll have that.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
So may I return back to the thought on food? So should I then order food in advance or wait till we find out the number and then order the food?
I'll have to order because I'll use the department card for it. And Publix is great. You can tell them exactly what time you're going to pick it up, and we can have someone pick it up. You can pre-order on their sandwiches, so we can do something like that. Maybe I'll go to Sam's and get one of the big mixed bags of the small bags of chips and stuff.
Okay. All right, sounds good. We've got the booth, we've got the advertising. Any updates on advertising? I think we've covered that already, I think.
Well, just that is tomorrow good for you, Kim?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's do that.
Anytime specifically?
That's a good question. After lunch.
After lunch, okay, that's fine. And meet you here?
Yep.
Okay.
At the Community Development Department.
Oh, okay, all right. And so we'll make copies, and then I'll plan on dropping them off between tomorrow and Thursday?
Yeah, I can drop a lot. I do inspections on Fridays,
Okay.
so I go by a lot of these places, so I can drop a lot of them off too.
Okay,
And I have we have the approval from the school board on the flyer. Basically just made like a black and white version so we could print it out easier. I think we'll do one to a page.
I think just because my son is, I think even a half a page might actually work. And then, obviously you can get a little bit more, that's half the paper. Because, I get advertisements all the time from different organizations in my son's binder. And, whether it's a big page or a half a page, I think they'll still see it. That way, it'll probably help with cost as well, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we'll put on like some light green paper, something. And like I said, I just got approved on the press release, so we can get that out to the outlets as well.
Are we able to add the chaos sound to this? Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
Do they have a logo? Okay. I'll make them a sign for the stage, too.
Okay. I think we've gone through the list. Is there any, or are there any additional details, information?
The day of event tasks, like Charles was saying, who's going to come early and mark out those sites, and who's going to be available for people to check in, or
For volunteers or for vendors?
us.
I'm going to be there
What
early.
are our posts for the day?
Okay.
I'm going to be there early for the sound,
Yeah.
so. that's
You're going to be
gotta-
there early to help set up the sound and get the musicians checked in. And also with the Tai Chi, so the mayor's going to open and has his proclamation, and then the Tai Chi demonstration is going to be done on the cement pad in the center. So just to let you know, they'll go immediately after the mayor.
Is President Roosevelt coming this year? Did anybody try to get hold of him?
Yeah, he's not from here.
I know he's not from here, but he was here last year.
He wasn't at our event.
I thought he was at Earth Day.
Uh-uh.
No?
No, it was because we had a booth at Pelican Island last year. That's why.
That's what it was.
I plan on being there early as well. I know that I had signed up to be at the Natural Resources
I
Board.
just want to meet me here early so we can grab things from here. And maybe like for the gopher tortoise thing, if someone could pick it up like a day before, because I don't want to have to be running upstairs and grabbing all this stuff right before the
that
event and
last
loading
year.
up the car. And
Are you able to do that this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were running around like the last minute trying to find
yeah, we were.
everything.
So I was like, can we just
yeah.
do this ahead this time?
Yeah.
So you're going to meet
and I'll have the
ahead.
boards and displays and the easels and
I can meet you
other
at-
things. Like they'll have our tables and pop up there, but we need to bring all
What
that.
time in the morning would
I'll
you like
start
to see
loading it
everybody
into
here?
the car before, days before, but if someone could just be here to help me organize all the last minute stuff to load up and bring over.
What time is that?
Yeah, what time would you want someone here?
What time is the event? It's at 9.
Yeah, it starts at 9.
7:30.
7:30?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll already be there. I'll have it laid out before then, but we can all meet here at 7:30. I'll get that laid out. and
Not
come
here. I just need like one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I think we
Just
should
help me
kind
make sure
of,
and like run over the list of any last minute things we might need before I leave here. I don't want to have to come back and stuff.
okay.
That's all.
I can swing by here at 7:30. I'll meet you. Okay. And then should basically all of us, try and be there early, or do we want to try and do 2 shifts? How do we want to kind of,
Is everyone available for the whole day?
Yes.
If anyone's not, then we can work out at shifts or.
I just may need to leave early for my boys in the afternoon, my kids, but I intend to be there as early as I can, so.
Absolutely. And it would be ideal for everyone to be here at least half hour before the event. We do have a lot of stuff to get set up and secure, and we don't know what last minute things might come up.
Yeah. Okay. There will be some kind of like a master list for vendors who, just so they don't have to all come to, like you or whoever is sending out the location information, we'll have all of that.
They should
As well.
be directed to come to the Natural Resources Board tent.
Okay. So all of that will be there, okay.
Yeah, we'll get
have
that
them where the
information out to
vendors
them.
are going already. I got a map that shows all the spaces.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then some of these vendors that were already done it before, they're gonna wanna go back to their same spot.
Yeah, if they ask, they're gonna have the same spot as they did the year before unless they don't want to.
Right.
And then we'll fill in from there based on electricity first, who needs that, and work out from there.
So how did the volunteers get their assignments?
They report to the Natural Resource Board. We usually will send a group of them to Daisy, because she handles the park cleanup and the area cleanup. And then, depending on what activities we're running, we'll divide them up. They did pretty good, and then they moved around last time, they did all right.
Yeah, there were a bunch that were helping out with the Gopher Tortoise.
We had one helping hand out the scavenger
cleanup.
hunt.
And then the tables at the end of the,
Yeah, helping to
that was big.
Take
Just gotta
everything
hold
down.
on to these guys till the very end. They wanna all just come at the end, it's fine.
We all drag by the end.
Okay.
And we normally would get a list of volunteers, have them sign up on something?
Yeah, I'll have a volunteer sheet. If, like I said, we'll have a sheet, and if any school or organization needs the list of the sign-in and their hours, or even their assignment, what they did, we'll have it all there.
Yeah.
And I scanned them and sent them to the middle school last year.
I did want to let you know that I'd contacted the Kiwanis folks. You gave me their number, and I left a message, and I called again, and I never got a response. So I did follow up on that item from the last meeting.
I'll contact our Rotary president too and see if Rotary won't have we're not a very large group here in Sebastian. See if we can get a couple of them. Boy Scouts too. Yeah.
Did anybody reach out to Boy Scouts? Or do we?
Yeah, that's another good one. Just at least let them know, and if they want to show up on the 27th, great. That's how it happened last year. Like all these people showed up.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what
They
it
know
was.
it's there, and they know.
And like, there was a bunch of them. We just didn't know they
A
were
lot of middle
coming.
school kids showed up.
Yes, they have to. They need the hours.
In Honor Society, they have to have something like 60 hours a year.
All right.
So just keep checking your email boxes. I'm sure we'll have a lot of communication leading up to. If we could keep the spreadsheet updated so that I can come with a, up-to-date vendors list, and maybe just remove any that aren't participating. No, it was like our contact list.
Yeah.
If there are no, like move them to another one.
Yeah, so I
Or
think what I'm
save
gonna-
this one, make a new one, or.
Yeah, this will
delete
be
them
kind of
out.
the master list. We can send out
Right.
emails to everyone, but then make one that is just for this year. So I will
Right.
do that. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm writing. I think that's everything then. We'll just kind of keep in touch. All right. Next up, we've got member matters. Any input? Okay. And then items for the next agenda. It looks like we'll be kind of summarizing our Earth Day, Arbor Day
Right.
celebration. Yeah.
Sorry, I mean planning update, sorry.
Yeah. So, okay. If there are no further items,
Motion to adjourn then.
Second?
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We are adjourned.